Hi, welcome back to Rabbit Hole History, where each week for 6 weeks I dive into a historical topic that I'm interested in. This is week 6, my final week of my ancient Greek history series. This has been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot about not only the Greek history, but about kind of how to present these videos and what I like learning about. If you haven't checked out the rest of this series, definitely go check those out. Feel free. Because this week we're just going to kind of recap and wrap up the series. And I just kind of wanted to tie everything together and try to get a sense of what an average person did during the day in ancient Greece. We've learned all about the country's general history, spirituality and religion, buildings and architecture, entertainment, and most importantly, food. So let's kind of put everything all together. I'll just jump right back into it. Welcome back to Rabbit Hole History. Okay, so wrapping up the series, I wanted to talk a little bit about what daily life was like for a Greek citizen, and something that I haven't really covered yet but have used a lot in reference images and pictures is actually how important pottery is in telling us what life was like and what stories existed back then. This one resource that I found from the British Museum actually outlines a lot of different pieces of pottery that totally encapsulate what an average Greek citizen's experience was. Such as this cup called a kylix depicts people working in agriculture, which was how most people made their living. Now, on the topic of making a living, it should be noted that slavery was quite common in this time period. In Athens alone, it's estimated that there were between 60 to 80,000 slaves during the 4th and 5th centuries BC. It's not a pretty topic at all to discuss or learn about, but it was unfortunately a part of their daily life. The lines here also get a little blurred because a lot of Athenians could choose to go into slavery kind of as an indentured servitude if they fell on hard financial times, but it still shouldn't downplay the fact that they literally enslaved people, which is wrong, clearly. Maybe that's a darker rabbit hole for another day. But one thing everyone did have in common was the practice and worship of religion. If you didn't catch my video earlier on in the series about religion and mythology in ancient Greece, definitely go check that out. I talk about all of the different Greek gods and goddesses, what they represented. Go check it out because it is a really important part of ancient Greek daily life. It was common to have religious sacrifices and ceremonies, rituals, and festivals. I think this ties well into education in ancient Greece as well. Everything was centered around their spirituality. They studied music and literature, all with associations to the gods. So with daily life, I kind of wanted to wrap up this series by talking about modern influences from ancient Greece. And while I was getting my notes together, I kind of realized that I've been talking about the modern influence of ancient Greek history and culture this entire time. And I think that's why this was a good jumping off point for this channel, a good first rabbit hole dive. Everybody seems to know or at least understand really important cultural touchstones that come from ancient Greece. The Olympics and the tragedies and comedies and philosophy, architecture, really everything that I've covered through this rabbit hole series are still examples of ancient history that we still see in today's world. And I think because of that, it is so prevalent in modern media, movies, and podcasts, and book series, even the way that I started this series in the first place with Percy Jackson. And so I think that's where we're gonna stop the rabbit hole dive for ancient Greece. And so that's series 1. This has been so much fun to do. I'm really, really happy that I used ancient Greece as a starting off point. It's been so much fun to research and kind of get back into learning and teaching myself history like I have always loved to do. And I hope you enjoyed the ride along these last 6 episodes. I hope it's been helpful. I hope you, like me, have had an interest in this stuff and wanted kind of bite-sized rabbit hole little pieces. Wherever you're at, I really appreciate you listening this far. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't watched my other videos in this series, definitely go back and check those out before I dive into Series 2, which is gonna come along next week. I'm really looking forward to Series 2 because I think it's gonna be a little more of a challenge in terms of research and what's available, so I'm gonna really dive into a rabbit hole here. So with that, I'll leave you. Thank you again so much for watching, and if you've watched the whole series so far, thank you so much for doing so. You've given me the confidence to continue, and I really appreciate it. So thank you again, and we'll see you next week.